Hey everybody, this is Jim. This is going to be a demo on how to build a character. Now I'm sure there's lots of YouTube videos out there, a lot better than this one, but if you find those, go ahead and use those. I'm just going to go through how I rig a character and talk about that and things like that. So to start with, I've got just a very rough drawing of my character here. I drew him pretty big. And as you can see, here he is. And you can see he's pretty tall. And he's sticking out of the window right there. So what he is, he's on one layer right here. Very rough. And now I'm going to go in and draw in every body part here. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. I start off with the body, and I'm just going to start off with my brush, and I've already got it set up here. And you can go up into this mode here and click that, and another window pops up, which usually pops over here, but it looks like this. And you can adjust different things like your tip control here. You can choose whatever one you want. Got a minimum size and a maximum size. So it's about 15. So you can turn on all these things. I'm not sure what that does, but it has pen sensitivity. You can bring that up a little bit. Tilting, things like that. And that's about it. So you can also set your smoothing. So smoothing is something where if it's on 0 and you draw a line like that, it stays looking like that. So you might want to just up this a little bit, maybe 10 or something like that. Not much. Then when you draw a line, see, it's a little less. So let's make it a little bit more. So we're getting about 12, maybe 14, something like that. Let's see what happens now. If I just draw a line, see, it smooths it out a little bit. Bring this even more. You don't want to go too much, because when you are starting to draw a line, you want to make sure that it doesn't get too, like if you want something like that, it's going to round it off even more. So you have to kind of adjust it to your taste. And so maybe about there. Let's see. Yeah. That's better. Okay, so I'm just testing it out. All right, so that's on there. So, and this is where you have to decide, do you want to have all black lines? If you don't, you can go up into here and put color. And then you can make colored lines. So you can choose different types of colors here. The ones that come in automatically are black, white, red, green, blue, and vectorized line. So you can select vectorized line, but you can also change this to a different color. To do that, you would go up to plus, and then this is your color. And then you can actually click on that twice, and then you can decide what color you want this to be, as outline. So you can pick any of this stuff, and you just write down a different name up here and save it. And then what it'll do is it'll make that color right in here. Okay. So you don't want to erase this stuff. You just want to add to it. You see, and then you would add this as skin color or whatever you want to call this. I'm just going to go with a regular vector line for now. And so I'm just going to create the body first. And so the body basically is a neck with a torso. So I'm going to make the neck kind of tall like this. And then I'm going to make his torso. He's got a kind of this shape body. that. And this is where it gets kind of interesting. It depends on the character. If it's a realistic character, he's going to probably have a waist, pants, right? So we're going to do something here. So I'll just give him a waistband here. Maybe a belt. That looks a little odd. And again, if the smoothing's too much, it's going to curve your lines a little bit. So you might want to just be aware of that. Sometimes it helps. You got to get used to it. Anyway, there's my, there it is. I'm just going to go in here, just erase a little line there like that. You can also use your cutting tool, your cutter tool right up here. Cutter. So that's for if you make something like this and you go like that. And instead of going in and erasing all this stuff, you can just go to your cutter tool up here, go to cutter. You can like highlight that. Oops. And cutter tool. Highlight this like this, and then you can cut it. And it cuts everything out. Also, if it's something where it's right now, that's a solid line right there. So if you have something where you have a solid line and then you make something else like an arm or something coming out, and something like that, you can actually use the cutter tool to actually click on that one little piece of that line and then push delete, and I'll delete it. So try out the cutter tool. It's a fun thing to use. Usually when you're cleaning up stuff, that's what you're going to be using a lot of. And you just want it to look really good. So cut all this stuff. Go back into select mode. So that's basically my body. And I've labeled my body right here. And now all I'm doing is just adding different drawing layers like this and calling them different things. So I'm going to call this my head. And I'm just going to add and close. And it puts another layer right over here. And so now I'm just going to work on the head. Now the head's broken up to a lot of different things. You've got hair. You can put your hair on a different layer. You can put your eyes in a different layer, your pupils, your mouth. But usually the things that don't move is, if this character needed to wiggle his ears, you might want to put those on a different layer. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go around and put his ears on a different, attach it to his face. So here's his neck, here's his chin, and do his nose, and do his another part of his ear there. Connect it as best I can. This guy's his eyes are kind of big here, so we're gonna give him a bald head here. And that didn't look right. Let's see. Around, something like that. So again, I might go into that cutter tool, might use my erase tool. Just want to cut that line, smooth it out a little bit. Any craziness, you just want to smooth it out. You want to maybe even make your lines nice and sharp. You can do that too. All right, so there he is. I'm going to put some hair on him. I don't really have any hair, but I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to put his eyes next. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to say eyes. Eyes. So there's eyes 1 and eyes 2. Okay, so I'm just going to have this eyes. These eyes. I'm going to, oops. First I got a non-erase tool, but paintbrush would be better. And we'll just make some eyes. We're going to try not to cut over his nose. Oops, what did I just do? And this is where you might want to zoom in a little bit just to make sure you know what you're doing here. All right. Okay, so there's his nose, and so you have to kind of be aware that that does exist. Okay, and I'll make this eye like this. Maybe even give it a little bit of a, that's pretty big. And this is where he's going to have brows. So his eyeballs are pretty much his eyeballs, you know. But we've got this one here. We'll give these pupils. So we can call it. And this is something where if you don't like that, if it's not, you don't want to draw, you can actually go in and make ellipses here. And to make it a solid circle, you just push shift and pull back. That's pretty thick. That's a thick line there. So I might want to go in and just give me a different line for this one. Right now it's in pencil mode. Here. So I might make that a little thinner. Right now it's on 20. So I'm going to put on 5. You'll see the difference here. So now I make that. Yeah, there he is. Like that. If you don't like that, you can just make it kind of oval by just holding it down and bringing it like that. Looks pretty good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little highlight inside there by making another little oval like that. And then I'm going to copy this one, copy it, and I'm going to paste it. But I'm going to move the copy over to the other side where his eyeball is. Bring it about there. All right. So those are his pupils. So you want to call these pupils. And again, this is, people do this different ways. You might want to control both pupils, make one smaller, things like that. He's pretty big. So let's do that. Let's make his pupils a little smaller. And it's just something you're just trying to figure out. And if you've drawn this already, it'll be easier to do. All right. Don't want to get him too big on the outside here because I want to, it's kind of at an angle, so let's see how that looks. All right. That's better. All right, so now I'm going to get those brows. I'm going to go to plus, drawing, call it brows. Now the thing is, brows have brows and hands and mouths and sometimes feet can be drawn different ways, and those are drawing substitutions, and we'll go over that later on. I want you to know about that. So his basic brow is default position. I guess he kind of looks like this. He got like a line like that, and maybe a line like that. Just a normal kind of everyday brow. All right. So this did create another brow, but we're going to call it something else. And so we got that. Let's see. His hair. Well, before we do that, let's do the mouth. So the mouth, we'll just go in here like this. We'll call it mouth. Now, like I said, drawing substitution, how does that work? Well, you basically have a layer called mouths or mouth. And what you're doing is you're going to draw, like for lip sync, you have mouth A through mouth G or something like that. So if this is his mouth, default This is the A mouth, just a standard closed mouth. So you can actually adjust his, trim a little here and there to give it like thick and thin look to it. Unless you've already drawn that in your pen. So there's mouth one. So this is called A for mouth one. And what you can do is you can make another one. So the thing is, all this stuff, all these parts are all on one layer right here. Now, if you turn on your onion skin and you go to the next one, you see there's his mouth. And this is where you have to decide when he opens his mouth, is his chin going to move, or is it just going to stay there the same way and just the mouth gets big? Doesn't affect the chin. If it does move, then you have to make another, like a head, or split up the head so it's got a chin that has a separate layer. So there's the mouth. So I'm just going to go through this since I know these mouths. You can actually copy this main mouth, just since there's lips there that are kind of, they're pretty, been changed a little bit. I'm going to actually go over here and I'm going to copy and paste it. And since I copied and pasted it from my stage, it is its own, it's a separate thing. So now I can actually make a B mouth. So a B mouth is always just a little bit bigger, and it's almost like just teeth. So you can just make a teeth, kind of this kind of thing. And you can just indicate a little bit of teeth over here. And if it would stop doing that, there we go. We'll erase those two little dots. There's some teeth. So basically that's the closed mouth, A, that's B mouth right there. And I'm just gonna give it a little extra there and shave that off a little. See, it's a little bit more sharper. So his B mouth, that's his B mouth. And then let's make a C mouth. So again, we have that in memory. So if I control V, that shows that. And we have that little lip thing there. And he's got kind of a stiff lip, I guess. So I'm going to bring that lip down a little bit more. This is a C mouth. The C mouth's a little bit more wide, open, a little bit more open. And it shows the teeth and the inside of the mouth. So again, this is getting pretty thick. So I'm going to go into this one, 5. And I'm just going to continue that tooth line around here. Maybe a little bit higher. Let's see, about here is good. There it is. Connect the teeth. It's just something that we always did as kids, you know, connect the teeth. Great game we had. So, and I got to put that tongue in there. So I'm going to put in the tongue kind of like that. So you can see it. Of course, this is not painted yet. So this is where we would paint it later when we get everything attached, before we get everything attached. So you always have to build everything in different pieces on different layers. And then you're going to clean it up, put all the colors in it, make it all ready to go. And then you're going to put all those parts together in rigging. So here we're just doing that for now, just to show you what it looks like. So there's the mouth going on like that. We can copy this now. And we're going to make a D mouth copy. And we're going to make a V. There it is. So there it is. It's copied. So now you can actually select some of these things, and you can actually pull this down even more. Make it really open like that. And then this is supposed to be where he's kind of shouting, you know, making those loud noises, you know, ah, or something like that. So I'm just going in here like this. And I'm just going to connect the the mouth here. There. So now you can see he's got his mouth. It's starting to open like that. And then he's got, that's, was it A, B, C, D? And we have an E mouth. So E mouths are a little different. E mouths have to change the shape of the mouth. It's more of an O, like an O mouth. So it's more of a circle like this. And this is where you decide if you want to have teeth, you can put teeth like that. If you want to have a tongue, you can have a tongue like that. You usually want to curve, you know, it's a curve, so that lip is actually going to be turned like that. All right. There he is. And again, this is where you're trying to match the line quality and make sure it all looks like it's not going to be changing and all that. So do these little kind of things like that. So there you go. So again, you don't have to put the teeth in there. You might even have a version where it's like this when you need teeth. And maybe we'll just make another one here without teeth. So we'll copy and we'll put it down the street here. The next one, post it, and this time we'll just find that tooth. We'll take out the teeth. Now it's sort of an oh, like that. All right, so now we're going to make an ooh mouth, which is usually an F mouth. F mouth looks like this. It's a very small little ooh shaped thing, like that. And this is depending on what it looks like. Maybe your character, when he says ooh, it's more sticks out like that, you know? It's all whatever you want to do, as long as it's making that same kind of move, that same sound and that, you know. So there we go. Maybe we'll just make it like that. We'll just, maybe he enunciates more here. We'll just make it a little, you know, maybe we need that. I don't know. Oops. Getting too heavy here. All right, so there we go. There's an M mouth, and then definitely you need some other ones like there's this one here, which we'll copy again, the B mouth. So you can actually grab that B mouth like this, copy it. We'll put this down here, and we're going to have those sounds where there's like a V or an F sound. So it looks something like this. We're just going to go in. We're going to get rid of that lip line. And we're going to kind of like he's, say the word very. How's your teeth kind of touch your bottom lip there? Kind of like that. So that's like a V. A V. And then you can also take that same one and make it like this. You can go here, and it's going to be a TH sound, like a the, that, TH. This was popular when Ren and Stimpy was coming out. We never knew about this mouth shape until then. But basically, they came up with the whole tongue sticking out. That. That might be a little big, but for this is fine. Let's see, we've got a V mouth, V, or an F, F, and then we've got a TH, and then we can put an L sounds, you know, like an L or a N, or an L, wool. And what we'll do is we'll go into this one here. And depending on what he says, again, you can have various sizes of this too. Copy it, put it here. The thing is, if you're doing lip sync, you just don't want to, you want to make sure you have all the lips that you can think of, all the mouth position you can think of, because you can't really put them back in there. It's going to take longer to do that. You want to add to it. So just get as much as you can now. So what I say, the L sound. So the L sound is basically this, is the tongue. If you say the word liver, your tongue actually kind of goes up like this. In a lot of places, they'll put this little indication like this, like the tongue is like touching the roof of its mouth here, like this. Might even put a little bit of hint of that tongue line there. There you go. Oops. All right, so there it is. Those are your substitutions right there. And every time you change this, they're kind of like in a library, all their own. I look at library here, and I pull this down, you'll see what I'm talking about. There they are. So there's, that's 3, that's 6. And what you're going to be doing if you're going to make this talk is you're basically showing this for 2 frames, and this is for 1 or 2, 3, and you're just flipping back and forth between this using the controls I'll show you later. So anyway, that's what drawing substitutions are. They work on eyes. Eyes can change shape. Brows can change shape. Hands can change shape. So anything that can change shape, hair, things like that. Let's go back to our guy here. And he's looking pretty good now. So let's put some hair on him because we do need some sort of hair there. So let's see. Here we go. So I'll just bring him down a little bit. Give him a little hair. Let's see. All right. So we'll make this again. Oops, not color card. Sorry. Go to this. And we'll go to drawing, and we'll go to hair. Make some hair. Hair closed. There he is. So you got to figure out how kind of hair does he have. Now, it's been doing kind of thin lines here already, so I might have to go back and just change this up, make it a little thicker. Figure out where his hair is. So maybe just kind of give him a couple strands like that. Goes like that. I'm just kind of eyeballing this, really. All right. Just kind of create this kind of simple shape. So there's his hair. And again, you can animate his hair. You can put things called bone deformers in the strands of the hair so you can actually move the hair about. We'll go into that too. There's the hair. It's looking pretty good here. Okay, so it's important to label these arms and the legs, not just left arm and right arm, because that gets confusing. Someone came up with the idea of whatever arm is closest towards you, that's the front arm, and the arm that's behind the body, that's the back arm. So if you label it like that, later on it'll be easier to adjust, especially if you're using the same rig and you want to flip the rig. It's going to be okay to do that. So I'm going to call this front arm, and there it is, front arm. So this is going to be my front arm facing me. And so I'm actually going to start to draw. So I've got this shoulder like that. There he is. And then I'm actually have to go up a little bit because he's tall, got a lot of stuff here. So I'm gonna have to go out a little bit. And I'm trying to do this fast, but It's hard. So anyway, that's his arm, and so you got to kind of figure out like where his elbow is, and you can make the changes here. So we're gonna do this, and we're gonna just give him like a nub. Basically, he has a nub for an arm because we're gonna have the hands on a separate layer. So there's his nub. All right. So this is where you might want to. Sorry, everybody's talking in my house tonight, so sorry about that. You hear all sorts of noises. Anyway, so there, just fixing up this thing. All right, so there's his arm. Now, we're leaving this blank right here because we don't want to get it too busy there. If we did a whole color, we want the color of the shirt to kind of blend in with the body and the arm and all that. So anyway, I'm just putting that. There's his front arm. So now let's put his front hand on there. So I'm going to go here to make another one. Call it front hand. Front hand. Front hand. Boom. All right. So front hand, again, that's definitely, it's going to be a bunch of different hands. So you have to draw them from certain angles. So in this case, you got to think about, okay, so if this is his hand, and we're kind of in the, position, and you got to figure out, like, how many, is he a realistic character? Does he have regular fingers, or is he a cartoony character where he has like 4 fingers? 3 fingers and a thumb. It's up to you. But you want to draw it the right way. So he's got a thing like this. Remember, the middle finger is usually the longest one. Hey, I'm really bad at hands tonight because I'm rushing. I'm trying to get this done. All right, so here's the finger. Here's another finger. Another finger. And another finger. All right, there we go. And then what I'll do is to connect this, I'll have a same color line as the color of his skin, so it'll blend in. Okay, so there's the hand. Everybody's talking in my house. Very loud. It's a loud house we have here. So anyway, so there's the next one is going to be the back arm. So let's just put that in. So we're going to put that in. This is the back arm. Back arm. Stop talking. They're just so loud. Blah, blah. Okay, so back arm, buddy. So let's go back up here. We'll click on this. Remember this thing here didn't really get. I just got to make sure the smoothing's on a little bit more. There we go. It wasn't on it. It's kind of wiggly there. There we go. So now when I do this, it'll take out all my. Well, it's still a little wiggly. You can see. Now remember that wiggle. That wiggle is going to disappear. It's going to disappear, I tell you. Farther away it is, nobody else sees that wiggle. I tell you what, won't see the wiggle. No, sir. They surely will not. So let's up this wiggle a little bit more. There we go. All right. So we go like this. That. Now we'll bring that arm down, and there he is. This is getting me better now, so we're going to make that kind of go down to here, kind of curve around, attach itself like that. All right, so there you go. All right, so we got that back arm. Let's put that back hand in there, and that's a backhanded compliment. the matter? You look good today. What? What? All right, so backhand. Here we go, backhand. Usually I like to just backhand it. So there it is, backhand. There it is, and let's make it backhand. So we're going to go down here. Remember, his thumb's over here. Let's put the thumb in there. There it is. Yeah, this guy does have a regular hand. All right, so there's the hand. So now this is where it gets interesting. This is where you're going to actually come up with different hands. So you got that kind of hand. You've got a fist. So you got to draw kind of like, what would it look like if he's got a fist. All right, that looks kind of creepy like that. Let's see. All right, so fists. All right. Driven. I haven't driven lately. No, I haven't made hands lately. So I gotta hand it to you. I'm a little rusty. So a friend of mine used to always do this with hands. He'd always make like a little knuckle, kind of like that. He said that the best way to make a hand is to draw a box. And the wrist kind of sticks out here. And then the fingers, you got like a thumb over here. And you got these fingers kind of attach themselves like this. So that's typical hand, and then you could just make a little thing like that, a little indentation there. Practice your hands. It'll come in handy. See what I did there? Okay, so let's make a pointing finger. Points. All right, so now these are, remember this hand is pointed down right now, so this thing's gonna move about. And again, a little knuckle line sometimes comes in handy. Can't help myself tonight. Whoa, look at this. All right. So there you can see he's pointing. So this is where you're going to have to put in all these different hand moves. And it can flip around. Your hand can flip around. So you don't need this really for the rig right now. I mean, you will, and you probably want to do that. And draw it in different ways, you know. Now remember, you're turning the hand around. So when it's looking one direction like this, you're going to have this way. Got it? Is it not turning off? All right, so basically your hand drawings are pretty important because you want to have your hand to be, you know, looking from this way, but you also want it to be reversed, you know, something like this where you see the inside of the hand like that. And then you got to like figure out how to do it from the side view. Like what's it going to look like when it turns around like halfway? It's going to be kind of like this. Right? So all this stuff, you want to have your hand be able to see it from like kind of a 360 degree, mode. So like there'll be stuff where he's standing like this. There's going to be stuff where he's standing, like this. And sometimes you can use just the shape of the hand and just reverse some things and it'll be fine. So that's down the road. So we just want to build a character right now who can walk down the street or something like that. And because it's your first rig, I'm going to put this hand like this. Try to get as many hands as I can in here so you can see different expressions that maybe I can use later on. So this could be its own video right now, just of me drawing hand shapes. Let's see, there's this side and then there's that side. Okay. And then what else we got? There's splayed fingers. Don't do the middle finger. Don't do that. Oh yeah, well yeah, you can't forget this one. Hey. All right. Whoops. Maybe you can. Let's see. So that's where drawing hands comes in handy. There, something like that. So I got a bunch there. All right, so there's some hands. All right, so what else we got here? That's about it. Go back, there's his hand. So we got a hand, we got an arm, and now we have to do legs. So what we'll do, just go down. I have to zoom out a little bit. Let's put some legs in here. And legs are a little easier because what we'll do here, we'll call it leg, front leg. Add. Oh, okay, showed me twice there. All right, good. So there's front leg. So what we're going to do is we're going to make that foot. So we got it. And then, by the way, this is the same leg. I just copied it and pasted it on the other side of this drawing. So if you think, oh wow, one leg, it looks bigger. So you want to make sure that one leg is, they're both the same. All right, so I'm going to go up here, make it a curved line like that. I did zoom out a little bit here. It's a little bit too close. There we go. All right, and now we'll bring this down. And we'll bring this down here. Oops, that didn't look right. Try it again. That's good enough. All right, so there he is. There's his foot. And just to make things go by faster, I'm just going to reuse that by copying and pasting it, copying this, copy, going up to front leg number 1, and actually changing that to back leg. Back leg. And I won't call it 1, just say back leg. And I'll do that. And there it is. Now it's got a layer. It's in memory. I push click. I push Control V, and it opens it up. Put my arrow key, I pop it over to here, and we are done. So here's everything we did. I'm going to turn off my drawing here, and you can actually see what it looks like. Bring this down, bring this down, and there's our guy. It's amazing. Look at the beautiful, oh my God, it's amazing. So there he is. So what we'll do here is, since we have a bunch of drawings of this, we'll do this. We're just gonna make these legs go out a little bit. So we're gonna extend everybody out a little bit, you know, out to here. So his hair is going to do stuff. So we haven't really decided what it's going to do. We do have the brows, and we only have one pair of brows there. So this is where you might want to go through now and start making different facial expressions. And to do that, that will help you do this, is just go into like his head. Where's his head? Here's his head. Click on that and bring that out to like 10. So we'll just put that out to 10. So you can see his head. Now when you go down here, you go to those different things like his brows. You can start playing with the brows. His eyes. His eyes can be pretty much, they're just there. Now remember, his eyes are going to blink, right? So let's put in an eye blink right here. That's a good idea. So we're going to move in here. All right. So there's his pupil. We want the eye shape itself. That's pretty standard. That's his look, I guess. So we're going to just copy these. I mean, you know, he could have glasses too. And I mean, you know, there's tons of things here you can have him. And that would probably be another layer too. Maybe not. Anyway, so I'm just going to show you how to do a blink. So here's my pupils. Again, our pupils, I'll make those go out to about 10. So that way, as we go through this, we can actually still see him. So there's his brows, there's his eyes, and then here's his, and this is the thing, he doesn't have to be on 2s here. He can be on 1. It's just one position, because if you want to have another position, you can click to the next one, and that's going to be different. So here, like his eye blinks. I'm just going to curve his lid like that. There's his eye blink. So his eyes are there. That's half lids. And now we have that in memory too. So we can go to Control V. There he is. And now this is where his eyes are actually going to, you know, they're closing. So it depends on how much of a close. If it's just a quiet close kind of thing, you can decide which way to go. I mean, you know, you can have him close his eyes like that. Or you could have close his eyes. His eyes could close, you know, like this. You know, it's up to you. You got to decide what you want to do. But the main thing is you want to curve that lid, because when it goes from this one to this one, it feels like it's closing. You know, it doesn't just like, it's not like a shutter, like it suddenly closes exactly the same way. You know. Anyway. Just put it like that, just to see. And this is where you can see, you can flip back and forth and decide. Now remember, when he's closing his eyes all the way, you don't want to have those pupils in there. So that's when you go up to your pupil layer here, and you just delete this one frame. And now you don't have to worry about seeing those pupils through there. And plus you're going to color inside here his skin color, whatever that is. Okay? let's get rid of all this other stuff here. Again, if you want to put stuff, you can draw little notes outside of the camera layer, but remember that this character is going to get big and small. So you don't want to have anything here you don't want to see. Sometimes you might see that. All right, so there's my hair. So I want to show you this thing. Now, I haven't really done this with hair, but I'm going to try it and see what happens. So I'm just going to give some more extra room here to the hair. And I want to show you this thing called, in the tools, well, right now I'm in default mode right here. So what I'm going to do is attempt to get out of this. And first of all, I've done all this work, but I haven't saved anything yet. So I definitely got to do that. So I'm going up here. I'm going to save as new version. I call this version 1. Basically, this is my guy, version 1, just the setup. There it is. All right. Well, I think that's a good for now because I don't want to go too far. It's almost an hour here. And as long as you can get it to this point, it's about an hour. It took me about an hour to get to this point here. I think I got a lot. I got all the things I need. I just have to add more to it. Like, you know, mainly his, like I said, his brows. Here's a good one. There's his brows normally. Now, let's make him look a little angry. So, of course, you got to give him, you know, you can give him a little bit of this kind of angry brow if you want. Do that. Maybe there's a kind of a sad. Maybe he's looking like kind of sad. Change the shape a little. Like that. So these are all these different brows that you can bring in here. You need them. Say you want the brows to jump up. So there they are there. And as long as you can see where that flat one is. There it is. So, you know, you can like that. Maybe in a quizzical, you know, like he's like, what? You know, so you could have one kind of up like that and the other one kind of, and this is where you might want to bring the eyes. There they are. Just have those a little bit longer so you can have something to put those brows around. So there he is. So there's his, maybe he's looking a little like, you know, like what? You know, something like that. Yeah, brows are fun. And I mean, it depends. You could move them around different ways, keyframe them if you want, move them around, but that gives you a little variety there, you know. Okay, so there's that, and then what else? We got the mouths, we got some of the arms or hands. All right. Okay, so this guy's pretty much set up. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, it's almost an hour, and yeah, it's pretty good. So, not bad. Got a lot there. Again, you can just extend some of these things if you need to, like mainly his hair, and his head, and his body. But, let's see. So, then there's drawing, which is nothing there. That's just the drawing itself. So there he is. Let's see. So now what we're going to do is start thinking of colors. What kind of colors? You notice I am in the line mode right over here. So I made all those right using this line right here, line art. So it knows that this is all line art. So hopefully, if we do this right, you can actually fill in your different colors here. And that's where you're going to have to, think about your character. Like, what color does he have? What is he wearing? Things like that. You notice his neck is attached to the body. So we might want to just separate that completely because, people can move their necks, So let's do that. Let's just add that extra layer. We'll just copy it. And we'll give it another drawing. And we'll call this neck. And there it is. It's above the body. And I really want to start connecting this, but I don't want to do it right now because now there's my body with the neck. So what you can do is just go up here and delete that neck. And there's the neck on the other side. And so what you want to do is you want to connect the body layer that way. Yeah, so there he is. What else we got here? So he's pretty simple looking guy. He's got a shirt, he's got pants. And this is where you want to, and he's got these pants. This is kind of like, poor butt here. And this is something that you can, later on, you can add more to this, like have just the top of his chest, maybe his groin area, that stuff that's right here. This could be on a separate layer, things like that. But not bad. So we do have an arm here that's exposed. Two arms that are exposed because he has short sleeves. Like that. And he has regular shoes like that. And so there's our guy. So not bad for an hour. All right. So, hey, I think I did that in record time. So if you want, you can watch the next video, because the next video I'm actually going to start putting colors on here. And once all the colors have been established on here, then we're going to connect it and make our rig. That's going to be really fun. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you've learned something, please subscribe and, let other people know about this. And, again, this isn't maybe not the greatest tutorial ever, but it'll help you kind of learn how to build this thing for the class and all that. All right, so that's all I got for now. I have no idea what this guy's name is, so if you want, you can suggest a name in the comments section. Hey, that's a good idea. All right, so I'll talk to you later. All right, bye. Thanks for watching.